Alright guys, it's Ignitus here, and right now I'm going to do a little overview on some of the Mage talents and glyphs and stats for 5.1, and then I'll put a little bit of tips in the end. First off, I'm going to go with the reforging. You want to reforge so you hit at least 16.67 critical strike. Right now, because I'm fully geared, I can pretty much just reforge completely out of crit and I'll still be on the 16.67. After that, what I do is I go into haste. This means that you can get more spells off, it shortens your global, so that's more pyros in a deep freeze. If you can reach 15%, then that's an extra tick on your combustion, and it generally helps you to get extra CCs like polys off in arena and things like that, which really helps out. After that, I would go mastery, but that's not quite as important. Gemming wise, you're going to mainly go with resilience gems, but PvP power is also good. Resilience right now is a slightly better stat than PvP power, but that's likely to change, so if you're watching this later, in future patches, this is 5.1 right now, then please look that out. But right now I'm going in a yellow slot, definitely 320 resilience, and then I'm grabbing things like 80 intellect and 160 resilience for a red socket. And there, obviously, I've gone a PvP power, so I'm having a little bit of PvP power, but mainly going resilience right now. Right, I'm going to have a look at the talents now, and the glyphs, and see what we have there. Most of these are actually interchangeable, so you don't have to pick exactly what I picked here. I'm going to be going over a couple of options. You can actually run with pretty much anything from this, it's just your choice. But this is what I'm choosing. Well, I'm going with Scorch, simply because it's an incredible talent for fire. You can also go Pom, Presence of Mind, which I do use sometimes, which you can let you get off lots and lots and lots of Pyroblasts in a row. Well, Scorch is just nice, as it's a nice tool to kite while doing damage and generate hot streaks and heating ups for your Pyroblasts. Next, I go into Ice Barrier, simply because the shield is amazing. Temporal Shield and Blazing Speed also have their place. You can use Blazing Speed, something like a Wrathy Basin, and coupling with some other things, you can pretty much jump from Lombermill to Mines if you use it right. Temporal Shield is a really good shield, as it has no cap on how much damage that you can take while in it. So if you know you're going to be bursted down, but it's not going to kill you, then Temporal Shield is really nice, because that means that you're just going to heal the damage back up afterwards, and effectively nothing's going to happen to you. I take Ice Barrier simply because 65k shield in the 25 seconds is pretty good. The next one, you're usually going to go with Ring of Frost, but sometimes with Frost Draw. Ring of Frost is basically, well, it's back how it was in Kata, in case anyone doesn't know. You summon a ring of frost, obviously, and then anyone that goes inside the ring gets frozen in place for 8 seconds. So this can be quite useful by putting a Dragon's Breath down to disorientate someone, or sheep them, and then you can put a ring and you can force someone to go in a ring, and then use that to maybe hardcast, get an evocation off, or hardcast a Pyroblast into a deep freeze to get some strong damage off. Frost Draw is also good, but I like Ring of Frost simply because you can use it on multiple enemies at once. Cold Snap is what I'd use in the next talent. Some people use Cauterize, but I think that's 50% heal, right? Cold Snaps does a 30% heal by itself, plus gives you an extra Frost Nova, plus gives you an extra block. In my opinion, it's superior and it can be a real help, but Cauterize is also an option if you don't like Cold Snap. In the next tier is pretty much a choice between Living Bomb and Nether Tempest. For general use, I usually go Living Bomb, but I actually grab Nether Tempest for RBGs simply because it does amazing damage when put on lots of targets, amazing AoE damage, and it can be a big help in RBGs. The next entry, Rune of Power, you have to stand still, so it's not really that great. Some people use Invocation, but it's mainly a PvE talent. I personally go with Encanter's Ward for the extra damage and a little extra shield in case you need it. Right, moving on to the glyphs. For glyphs, there's a couple things I run with. I'm currently running with Evocation, which lets your Evocation heal you as well as restore mana, which is absolutely amazing. It can be a lifesaver. I'm also grabbing the Glyph of Deep Speed, which is also amazing, takes it off of the global cooldown. I'll talk about that a bit more later. And then next, this glyph here, I actually changed between 3 glyphs, and that is Ice Block, that is, if I can find it, Polymorph, and that is a Pyroblast. I'll talk about them for a second. Ice Block means when you get out of your Ice Block, if you cancelaura it, for example, with a macro, then you become immune to spells for 3 seconds, and you get free Frost Nova. This can be great for kiting, it's pretty much great for anything. It's an amazing 1v1 talent, and 1v1 I wouldn't go without it. Polymorph is useful in arenas if you play with something like a Lock or a Shadow Priest, or anything that really puts dots on the target, which is most things now, because it removes all the dots from them so you can get a full duration sheep whenever you need to. Pyroblast I generally run with in RBGs simply because I use Inferno Blast in my rotation anyway to get up hot streak procs, and then coupling that with Nether Tempest means your Nether Tempest hits every single target in the RBG every 8 seconds when you can use Inferno Blast. That is some amazing damage, especially in RBGs. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. First off, showing you Burst that a Fire Mage can do. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to do this, one with and one without Alter Time. So first off, I need to get a Heating Up proc, and then use Inferno Blast again. I'm going to turn that into a Pyro. Right, so now I've got my Pyroblast. I'm going to do this quickly and then I'll talk about this afterwards. So, Frost Nova target, deep them, Pyro into them, combust it, Pyro, then I can do an Inferno Blast and then Pyro again. Alright, now if I speak about how that works. Yes, what I usually do is I do 2 Inferno Blasts and a Living Bomb to get my Pyro up, and in the little gap you have in between you can do some CC if you need to, or you can start damaging another target, do what you want to do. And then once I've got the Pyro, is after you, at the same time you deep the target, you can put in your first Pyro. You're then going to use Combustion, and the Pyro that you've just used will give you a Heating Up proc, seeing as it crit. The Combustion will also crit on the frozen target, turning that Heating Up into a Pyroblast. And note the Combustion also resets the cooldown on Inferno Blast. This I can then use the next Pyroblast, giving me another Heating Up proc. Then use an Inferno Blast as the cooldowns will be reset by Combustion to get another Pyroblast proc, and then hit in my third. If you can do it fast enough, that is 3 Pyroblasts in a deep freeze, and that's a heck of a lot of damage. I'm now actually going to show you another way to do it, and this uses a macro. I'm going to show you here. This macro uses your trinket spell power trinket, so your burst trinket on a 1-minute cooldown. This greatly increases the amount of damage you're going to be doing, and I recommend you can pop that trinket when you're doing the other technique as well, just for the extra damage, if that's all you can get off, or you want to use Alter Time defensively rather than offensively. And what this does is actually it uses Alter Time, Pyroblast, and then cancels the Alter Time straight away if you spam it 3 times. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to try and use Alter Time, use our Pyroblast, and then spam it so we cancel the Alter Time while the Pyroblast is still mid-air. What this is going to do is it means we're going to get the Pyroblast proc back, and then when the Pyroblast from the original proc hits the target dummy, then the Heating Up will become another Pyroblast, and then we can Pyroblast again. And you actually end up getting 3 Pyroblasts in a row with no interruptions, and then at the end of it you can combust for a big combust and a stun at the end of the deep. And this is how you can do a lot of damage very quickly, very easily as a Fire Mage. So I'll show you that now. So first of all I need to get the Pyroblast proc. So I'll do that, and then I can shoot that target for instance, and then target back. And then I'm going to deep. Spam the macro. It's going to do it in midair. That's 3 Pyroblasts, Combustion, and that actually got me another Pyroblast at the end. That's major damage. And we got a 10,500 Combustion off with that. So that's an extra 100,000 damage from the Combustion, plus 4 Pyroblasts. That is going to be insane. That's going to be all for now, guys. More tips and stuff if you want to see more. I've got more things that I can show you. Anything that you want to know, I can show you some rogue stuff if people want. Then just put it in the comments, and I'll see you guys later.